Oh my god. I'm trying really hard not to swear, but oh my god!
The human whose name is written in this note shall die.
You put my name in it, didn't you?
It was only if you took the book, and I thought I could convince you not to take it.
Are you kidding me? Like,
You put my name in the book, I got mad at him. Are you said you loved me, I thought you wouldn't take the book!
What did you think, Mephistopheles?
I didn't like it.
Okay.
It was a bad movie.
That's the
it was
review?
A very bad movie. What did you think, Party Elite?
So to give some context, I have never read or watched Death Note, so my perspective might be very different from yours.
Mm-hmm.
With that said, wow, that was terrible. If I had the Death Note, the first thing I would do is write the names of all the geniuses behind this production. And I'd be fine. Nobody would die, because there are no geniuses behind this production. That movie was terribly acted.
Yeah.
Especially at the beginning when he's screaming in the classroom in
God.
detention. Like, it was hard not to laugh. Badly edited. The music was bad as well. I feel like I'm wasting time with these criticisms. It is like an all-around kind of bad movie. It's overly gory. Like, it's trying to be a B movie in that sense.
Yeah.
You know?
It's going for shock gore.
Yeah. There's like one beautiful shot in the movie. It's when a bunch of people walk off the roof of a building, and it's really nicely shot. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see them splat on the ground, and it's just like, why?
Part of the reason that doesn't work is because it's so tonally inconsistent.
Right, exactly. And that's a big problem. Obviously, they're different mediums. But
Right.
some things should be consistent, and I feel tonally this movie was just all wrong. There were also no rules. Like, I know there's the rules in the Death Note, but I mean, the movie has no rules. Like at one point, he's literally saying what happens to a piece of paper. The Death Note is supposed to, as
Yeah.
far as I understand, and if this happens in the manga, then I think that's pretty stupid too.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, but he literally tells the book what should happen to a piece of paper. That's not how it's supposed to work?
Yeah.
Question mark? I don't know. And then I was really hoping that there was going to be more of a dynamic between the man known as L
Yeah.
and Light. That's what I was most excited for, because
Like-
you'd mentioned in the past that it's pretty clever.
Yeah.
And I love clever. That's my favorite thing in stories and movies.
Mm-hmm.
I like clever. We don't get that anymore. I'm just glad I didn't spend any money on it.
The fundamentally the worst thing about this movie is that all the characters
Yeah.
are just totally wrong.
Okay.
In terms of their personalities, their motivations, the way that they do things, and the reasons that they do them.
what is it?
What is what?
Your book?
I can't tell you.
Okay.
Do you really want to know?
Let's get done, okay? You hear me? Here, if you want the book, get it. What the fuck? Take your time. Take your time now.
These are all completely different characters, from Light and L, and Mia or Misa in the manga, to Ryuk, and even his dad.
I'll fucking kill you.
It's just it's a failure to understand what was interesting about the source material. Because this is a movie about this teenager who's kind of a douchebag and who's kind of a troublemaker, who's not very smart and emotionally vulnerable and easily manipulated, who gets basically just manipulated by one person or another to do these bad things. First by Ryuk and then by Mia.
We just put Kenny's name down and see what happens. I know you want to. Go on.
Do it.
Light in the books and in the anime is a total sociopath.
Okay.
The character in this movie is a much more typical teenager.
Yeah.
Like, he definitely seems like just a normal guy. It's not a character that I liked watching,
Yeah.
but it is a consistently written character.
When it's that shallow, it's pretty easy to stay consistent.
Light is meant to be a criminal mastermind. The character in this movie is simpering and just head over heels for the first girl who ever smiled at him.
Yeah. You knew that you know my name?
His girlfriend does something massively stupid, and then she's, begging him. She's like, please, no, I love you. And then he gets super emotional, and then he just passionately kisses her. We're like, we're gonna rule the world with the Death Notes. It's you and me, baby. And it's
Fucking Rick
like,
and Morty coming out.
we're gonna take over the world. I got a magic notebook. No, it's...
I mean, I understand why they'd make a change like that is to make the character more palatable for audiences, but that's stupid. Then don't make Death Note.
Every single thing that he does is 100% his choice in the manga. Okay. Ryuk is not the little devil sitting on his shoulder telling him what bad thing to do next. Okay. He's just watching him. Every bad thing that Light does, he's sort of goaded into by one character or another. He has no agency of his own.
That's true, yeah.
Because every time things get hard, you leave me to do the real stuff. You don't get to feel superior for being a pussy.
He has one act of agency right at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even that he was kind of cornered into.
Are you kidding me?
You put my name in the book, I got mad at him. You said you loved me, I thought you...
And they sort of try to give him an arc, kind of, in this movie, where at the end, it's Light, of all people, who says, this notebook is bad. See, look what it's done to us. It's destroyed our lives.
Mia, this is over. Ryuk fucked us. We're not the good guys anymore.
Well, see, so I would argue that he has no character development because he started the movie thinking, this is bad and I don't want to do this. He started at point A. He went...
Right.
Yeah, and then he came back to being like...
I can't believe you're saying this.
I can't believe you're not.
Well, then I guess we're really fucking lucky that it's my book.
And then he just doesn't want the book anymore.
So you just want to quit?
Every time there was a sort of moral crossroads in the film, Light is inclining towards the side of, oh, I don't want to do that, that's wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but that is the exact reason why we can't kill people based on website rumors.
But then some other character pushes him and says, no, this is what you need to do.
It's not like that.
And that is not at all how it is in the book.
It's not like that.
With an adaptation that's based on a serialized format like this into a single movie, I'm not necessarily looking for a slavish devotion to recreating all of the events exactly from the original story. Obviously, that's not going to work.
Right.
What I am looking for is the basic pillars of what makes that story,
right,
being held in place. Even the Japanese movies, which were much more faithful than this one, they have to take extreme liberties with
that's fine.
Condensing stuff.
But I mean, they didn't have to make this a 90-minute movie. I'm sure if they added another 30 minutes, it could have been at least a bit more substantial.
They could have maybe had some time to build up Elle and Light's relationship.
Yeah.
They have no relationship in this movie. The first time they meet, Elle is straight up accusing him of being Kira.
Yeah.
So you really think that I'm Kira?
No, I know it.
And Light basically admits that he is.
Yeah, he says, yep.
In the same conversation.
Yep.
You're the one who flew into the sun. I'm just here to make sure you actually burn.
Well, if that's how it has to be.
The character of Elle in the books is so emotionally unattached to basically everything.
Okay.
His sole motivation is to solve the puzzle.
Right, okay. I can't hold back this laugh because in the movie, he's anything but emotionless.
Oh, he's super emotional in the movie. This movie has an extended chase scene.
A bad chase scene, too.
Where Elle is chasing Light through alleys and warehouses and, like, crack dens, construction sites, trying to shoot him with a pistol.
Yeah, even though previously he says, I never carry a gun, it's just a distraction.
The book version of Elle would consider having to resort to that a total failure.
Wow,
because his thing is, I must have proof.
Right.
The way to defeat you is to have proof.
He says that also. I don't play with checks, I play with checkmates.
Yeah.
Didn't I clearly explain what happened?
Why, you just arrested me?
Oh, because I don't do check lights.
Wait!
Only checkmate.
Shea Whigham was kind of good as Light's dad.
Yeah.
He was, I'd say, the closest to how he is in the comics.
Apart from where he has the violent outbreak.
Yeah.
I'll fucking kill you!
I feel like its biggest flaw is that it just dumbs it down too much. It takes the crux of Death Note, which everyone knows is the notebook where you write names and people die, and then it just runs with that.
I understand wanting to make it your own thing, but there's a point where you either just gotta take the concept and do something totally different with it, or you've got to adapt the source material. And they kind of went for a middle road here where they got the bare skeleton of the plot and most of the key characters, but left out everything else.
I'll take a potato chip and eat it.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, it felt like a lot of fan service, but the wrong kind of fan service.
Exactly. They got the font perfectly right. In the Death Note.
Well, even watching it as an outsider, I would say, I was like, oh, that's clearly fan service. And fan service should not be that obvious. You know what I mean?
Positives. Willem Dafoe is amazing casting for Ryuk.
Yeah.
I wish he was in more of the movie.
Yeah.
But it's great casting.
He did do well. He was always shrouded in darkness, so we couldn't really see the performance capture in action.
I kind of wish they just hadn't done any CGI. Like, just had Willem Dafoe. Think about it. That's basically what he is in Spider-Man.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, they could have just had him in a costume, really.
Yeah, not even a costume, man. Just
Willem Dafoe.
This is the American version of Death Note. It's live action. It's not a comic book. Everything else is totally different. Just make him Willem Dafoe. I'm totally serious.
I'm picturing his name is also Willem Dafoe.
Yeah. Seriously, just make Willem Dafoe, follow him around, and whisper in his ear, tempting him. I think that would be way creepier, honestly, than this CGI thing following him around.
It would almost feel like a voice in the back of your head, like the stuff crazy, sociopathic murderers that talk about. Yeah,
and then they could have put him in more of the movie because this obviously didn't have much of a budget. The CGI was not very good. Yeah. And that would have given it something more to set it apart. By making him look exactly like the Ryuk of the comic, there's a certain expectation that you're going to faithfully translate everything from the comic. And that's clearly not what they were interested in doing. And I think that if that's what you want to do, then sure, go for that. But
go for it. Don't beat around the bush. I would say you still could. It could work like an anthology almost, right? Like Death Note, the manga, was this telling of the story.
Yeah.
And here's another telling of the myth in movie form. Like, it could still have a lot of the similar beats, but be different.
Yeah.
As long as it had the crux of the original piece. Because that's something that I felt positively about Ghost in the Shell, for example. It wasn't a one-to-one of the anime or the manga, but it had the core concept. And so, fine, take some liberties.
That's not at all what this is.
No.
This felt like whoever was in charge of writing it wanted to do his own thing, but couldn't because there were too many things that...
You think it was Netflix standing over the director's shoulder being like,
maybe.
well, no, you can't make the movie if it doesn't have this.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. The killer has to be named Kira.
Right.
Kira? What does that mean?
Sort of means killer in Japanese.
Ryuk has to look just like in the comic.
Right.
You've got to have the same font on the Death Note.
Because even I could tell that they were taking half steps, and they were putting things in just for the purpose of having them in to have a fan go like, oh, cool, they did that thing.
Yeah, that's a thing.
You're better off poking holes in your feet than watching this movie. Honestly, it's not even worth your time to watch it for free on your brother or your friend's Netflix account.
Seriously,
it's a waste of time.
it's what, a 90-minute movie? Just watch the first 5 episodes of the anime instead. It's also on Netflix.
Wait, important question.
What's up?
Was this a better or worse love story than Twilight?
I would say better.
Yeah.
Because I totally get the characters, the guy and the girl in this movie. They seem like people that could exist and that would have chemistry with each other.
I guess. Yeah, true.
Whereas Twilight, there was just... I've only seen the first one, but...
I haven't seen any.
Okay.
I feel sorry for you.
Still a better love story than Twilight.
I had to check.
I guess at the end of the day, there's too much that's different for it to be a good adaptation of the source material, and it's not enough different for it to be its own thing.
Right.
So it just kind of exists in this really weird, shitty middle ground that satisfies nothing. It's just not any good.
Maybe we just end on that note.